Welcome to KahaniVriksha, the story tree where magical tales grow from the roots of time. I'm your storyteller today, and oh, have I got a tale for you. It's the story of how life began, not just a few years ago, not even a million, but billions of years ago, told by someone very small, very round, and very, very old. So grab your curiosity hat, because today we're traveling through time with the time-traveling Pebble. Chapter 1, I was just a pebble, once upon a gooey time. Hello there, little explorer. You might think pebbles are boring, but I am no ordinary stone. I'm the oldest pebble in the world, and I've seen everything since the beginning of life on Earth. Want to hear the true tale of how it all began? Buckle up, we're rolling back. About 4 billion years ago, when Earth was just a baby, hot, loud, and wild. There were no trees, no bees, not even dirt. Just angry volcanoes, bubbling seas, and flashing lightning. But slowly, magic began to bubble under the ocean. Teeny tiny sparkles, called cells, started to float around. They were wobbly, jelly-like blobs, and they were alive. These little blobs were the very first life on Earth. At first, they were prokaryotes. That's just a fancy word for very simple living blobs. They wiggled, jiggled, and did something amazing. They made oxygen, the air we breathe. Next came the eukaryotes, super squishy blobs with tiny organs inside. They were like jellyfish with little backpacks. Life was partying underwater. Fish-like things, wiggly worms, and sea creatures with shells. And then, with a big splash of creativity, came the Cambrian explosion. No fire or boom, just a sudden burst of life everywhere. So many shapes, colors, and creatures popped up like popcorn in a giant sea pan. Some were soft, some were spiky, and some started to crawl out of the water. Plants began to appear on land, then insects, bugs, and a lot of strange things. Earth was getting braver. Earth became a giant science fair of creatures. Wiggly worms turned into fish. Fish turned into lizardy things. Lizardy things tried climbing trees. Some got tails, some got teeth, and some got really confused. The Earth just kept trying, what if I make this one bigger? Or what if this one flies? Soon, giant ferns covered the land, insects buzzed, and early amphibians croaked near ponds. But before you ask about dinosaurs, hang on. That's still far in the future. Right now, something colder was coming. Chapter 2, The Frosty Freeze. Hello, Ice Age. Suddenly, the weather turned chilly, then freezing. The earth yawned and stretched into a long nap. An ice age had begun. Snow fell, ice spread. The ground crunched. Everything looked like a giant frozen smoothie. And who marched into the snow? The woolly mammoth, the saber-toothed tiger, and even giant sloths. These were the fuzzy giants with thick coats and loud roars. But the biggest surprise? Humans appeared. Tiny compared to the beasts, but full of something special. Ideas. They discovered fire and used it to cook, warm up, and scare off scary creatures. They painted animals on cave walls, made music with bones, and told stories like this one. Chapter 3, Welcome to the Stone Age. Rock on. These early humans lived in the Stone Age, where rocks weren't just for skipping in rivers. They were tools, weapons, and even toys. In the Paleolithic Age, people hunted wild animals, gathered berries, and lived in caves. In the Mesolithic Age, they invented bows and arrows, fished smarter, and tamed dogs. Then came the Neolithic Age, and everything changed forever. People learned to farm. They planted seeds and waited for food to grow. They built homes, made pots, and started living in villages. They painted pretty shapes on walls and danced under the stars. And guess who was always there, watching quietly? Me, the Pebble. Sometimes I helped grind grain, sometimes I was part of a fire pit, and once I even became a toy. From bubbly goo to farming tools, humans had come so far. But what if I told you the real magic was just around the corner? Cities, bricks, roads, writing. Join me in part 2 as I roll into one of the smartest, cleanest, and most peaceful civilizations I've ever known. The Indus Valley Civilization. Only on KahaniVriksha, where stories grow with wonder. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a tale told by a talking pebble.